2024 comes to a close and we start to look ahead to 2025, we just wanted to take a quick moment and go through the front month contracts here, of these major ag contracts. We're also going to look at the SPY contract here as well. So as we go through everything, keep in mind it is for education and example purposes, and make sure that you understand and know your own risk tolerance, as we go through the information. We're going to start off with this weekly front month corn contract. We've got that yellow line showing the January 1 week. And, if you want to pause this as we go through and look at some of these numbers, great. But, really at the end of the day, corn was pretty much flat here throughout the year. The week of January 1, we closed at 460. And so far this week, we're trading right around 458. So it's really been kind of a flat year overall when you're looking at these front month corn chart. Going over to beans, a little different story, much more of a bearish trend. And that's clearly more reflected, when we look at these ending stocks. But the close in January 1 that week, we were at 1249. Sitting here today on front month beans, we're trading at about 995. This has been one of the weaker markets, across the ag sector. And like we said, a lot of that's going to come down to the production. And as we know now, as Brazil heads into their harvest, that they've had some really strong weather and prospects for a good crop. Going over to Chicago wheat, that a little more volatility when we had that little bit of a rally here in April and May, and then everything kind of settled back down. Looks a lot more like that corn chart. So we closed the week 1 of January at 616, and sitting here today we're at 554. So a little bit of a change, but really not much, from the start of the year. Do want to point out though very clearly, and you'll see this even in these cattle markets, this is why we want to make sure that we're rewarding rallies and selling into strength. We certainly don't know when they're going to end, but at the end of the day, you can see if you were rewarding some of these rallies here, whether it was wheat, soybeans, or even corn in that time frame, you were able to secure some decent pricing. Same thing here over on the live cattle side. January we closed at 170. 57 for the week of January 1. Sitting here today, we're sitting around 190. So a nice improvement in the cattle market, but a bulk of the move was really made here in that first month or two of the year, and then we've really kind of chopped sideways. So again, when it comes to the ag markets, especially, we really want to make sure that we're doing something at the higher end of these ranges. As you know, when we put the whole year, multi-year chart out here, we're at some historically high prices when it comes to the cattle markets. Really similar story on feeder cattle. The week of January 1, we closed at 223, put in a nice rally here in the first couple months of the year. And sitting here now at December 30th this week, we've got a high of 262 and trading around 261. So again, a nice improvement here, but most of the work was done in the beginning of the year. And as you can see, we've had opportunities when we get up into these higher end of the range to make sure to scale into some protection. Hogs a little more volatile, quite a wide spread here on that chart, but the week of January 1, that hog market closed at $70, and sitting here today, we're trading at about 80. So nice little bit of improvement, but ultimately a lot of volatility here, when we go to the hog market through 2024. The last chart we just wanted to point up was the S&P 500. The week of January 1, that closed at 47.34. Sitting here today, we're at 59.49. So, and you can see this has had pretty much a nice trend higher, and especially when you compare that to the ag markets, those charts are really more of in a trading range to a sideways market, where this stands out as a much more bullish trend. The reason why we bring that up is as we look towards 2025, we need to remind ourselves that as producers, we're growing a generic commodity, and it's very highly supply and demand driven. So we really don't want to sit here and hold. It just doesn't make a good investment. If you take a minute or two here to go through some of these yearly charts, you can look at the SPY, the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones over the last, 40, 50, 60 years. And it's generally had a nice sloping uptrend. When you go to the ag markets, livestock markets, that's just not the case. Certainly you get some short-term bull trends, but there is no long-term sustained move basically up and to the right. So keep that in mind as you go through 2025. It's very important, you grow the crop to sell, not to hold it. So make sure to reward some of these rallies. Now, please don't mistake that we can't get bear markets or anything like that in the S&P or in the equity markets. That's not my point. I'm just saying over time, the charts look much different when you want to look at something where you were going to buy it and hold versus a commodity that just simply it just doesn't make a good investment. You need to get your crop in the ground or get your cattle fed, and then get them priced and protect some values and keep moving on. As we look to 2025, we just want to encourage you guys to try something new, whether it's even just selling some insured bushels, maybe at an off seasonal time, or just, selling ahead at good values, even a small amount. I don't think you'll get hurt, and you can at least learn or try something new. Maybe you need to look at learning how to use the board there again, one call option, on the long side or a long put, really shouldn't get you in trouble, but it can certainly help expand your toolkit and help you learn and become a better marketer as we head into 2025. As always, we appreciate you guys tuning in. We try to produce a video here at least once a week, so we should have done about 52 here over the course of 2024, and we look to continue that again here in 2025. We appreciate you subscribing, like the video. I think we're 5 away from 700, so make sure to subscribe and help push us over the edge. Have a great new year.